China's state-run media has warned Prime Minister Narendra Modi not to push India into a reckless conflict with China as People's Liberation Army, as the latter is sufficiently capable of annihilating Indian troops in the border region. Describing India's military strength as being far behind that of China, the Global Times asserted that if the nearly 2-month-long tense standoff was escalated to a military conflict, then it is a war with an obvious result, as People's Liberation Army has made sufficient preparation for military confrontation. The government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi should be aware of the People's Liberation Army's overwhelming firepower and logistics. The editorial titled, "Modi Mustn't Pull India into Reckless Conflict," has warned Indian border troops that there are no rivals to the People's Liberation Army field forces. If a war spreads, the People's Liberation Army is perfectly capable of annihilating all Indian troops in the border region. Chinese foreign and defense ministries have been issuing warnings and strong statements against India on a daily basis and termed the standoff as an illegal trespass of Indian troops into Chinese territory, and vowed to take all necessary measures to make India withdraw its troops unconditionally. The editorial even ridiculed Defense Minister Arun Jaitley's recent remark that India of 2017 is different from what it was in 1962, in which China had defeated Indian forces. It said the Modi government should stop lying. The gap in national strength between the two countries is the largest in the past 50 years. If the Modi government wants to start a war, at least it should tell its people the truth, it said. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj had reiterated that India's roadmap is peace and talks are going on to resolve the issue diplomatically. Our concerns emanate from Chinese action on the ground, which have implications for the determination of the tri-junction boundary point between India, China and Bhutan, and the alignment of India-China boundary in the Sikkim sector. Thus, China is trying to change the status quo of the disputed tri-junction boundary point. The standoff started in June when Chinese soldiers tried to unilaterally change the status quo in the strategically important Doklam region of Bhutan by building a road in the area. The editorial asserted that India should shun its illusions of having the support of United States and Japan to treat China. The editorial explained that China is giving peace a chance, so why hasn't the People's Liberation Army started? China cherishes the decade-long peace on the border and wishes not to break it. We want to give peace a chance and allow India to recognize the grave consequences. India has made its stance clear that it stands for peace. The border question can be solved diplomatically, not by war. Sushma said, the tri-junction points in India-China boundary alignment in the Sikkim sector had been earlier addressed in a written common understanding reached between the special representatives of India and China on the boundary question in December 2012. The tri-junction boundary points between India, China and third countries will be finalized in consultation with the concerned countries. Since 2012 we have not held any discussion on the tri-junction with Bhutan. The Chinese action in the Doklam area is therefore of concern.